Okay, so as promised, here is going to be our video going over the study guide for the Unit 4 test. Okay, so first problem we're looking at is Jacko has a scale drawing. Scale drawing of a floor plan of his kitchen. So a scale drawing is going to be a shrunk down drawing of a real thing. So this is a shrunk down version of Jacko's kitchen. And it also says that the scale is 50 inch to 1 inch. Well, what that means is for every inch in the drawing, there is going to be 50 inches in real life. Okay. So it also says on the floor plan, the dimensions of his kitchen are 2 1/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is it's asking us what are the dimensions of the real kitchen in inches and show your work. So yes, you have to show your work. All right, so we're going to solve this how we solved these type of problems earlier on the year using a proportion. Okay, so we know the proportion is going to be two ratios set equal to each other. So this is going to be our first ratio. Okay, so that's giving the ratio of the number of inches in the drawing compared to the number of inches in real life. So I'm going to set that up. So 1/50. And I'm going to keep in mind this is from the drawing. I'm going to use D for drawing and R for real life. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start looking for the first one. So 2 1/4 inches. Okay, so 2 1/4 inches, you could use that just as is, or you can convert it into a decimal and say 2.25 inches. We can do that. And then there's going to be an X below. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. So 50 times 2.25, 1 times X. 1 times X is going to give us X. And then 50 times 2.25. 50 times 2.25 is going to give us X is equal to 112.5, and that's going to be inches still, okay? So that's going to be in inches. So 112.5 inches. We're going to do the same exact thing for our other 1/50, 2 3/4. I'm going to change it to 2.75 over X. So we're going to cross multiply. 1 times X is going to be X. 50 times 2.75. And do that multiplication. X is going to be equal to 137.5. Okay, so those are going to be our dimensions. You could say 112.5 by 137.5 inches. Okay, so there's inches either way. So now you're going to notice the second question is going to have us changing from inches to feet. Okay, so it says what are the approximate dimensions of its kitchen in feet? So round your answer to the nearest foot. Well, we have to remember that 1 foot is going to be equal to 12 inches. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and turn that into one ratio. So 1 foot over 12 inches. And then we're going to match that up with our dimensions. All right, so that's going to be 112.5 and then X. And then we're going to go ahead and use cross multiplication to solve that. So 12 times X, 1 times 112, you're going to end up with 12X is equal to 112.5. And then divide by 12 to get the X by itself. And X is going to be equal to so it'll be 9.375, or since it told us to round, we're just going to use 9. Okay, so that's the one we want, our rounded answer. All right, So we're going to do the same type of thing with our other one. So 1 over 12 is going to be equal to x over 137.5. We want to make sure our inches match up in the denominator. Cross multiply. We're going to end up with 12x is going to be equal to 137.5, because 1 times 137.5, divide by 12, and x is going to be equal to that's right. 11.45, or we're going to round down to 11 based on that 4. So 11 feet. Okay, so we're going to have 9 feet by 11 feet. Okay, let's keep moving on. Use your approximate dimensions from part B to find the area of the kitchen. Well, this is pretty easy, right? The kitchen is going to be shaped something like this. That's going to be 9 feet. That's going to be 11 feet. And we can just multiply those two lengths to give us our area. So 9 times 11, we're going to get 99 feet squared. Okay? So 99 feet squared. Go. All right, so that takes care of problem number 1. Okay, so first of all, our next up, number 2, use a protractor to draw an angle that is 160 degrees. That's going to be part A. So I'm going to do part A up here. Oops. Make sure I move my protractor. Okay, so here's my protractor. Okay, so remember, we're going to go ahead and we're first going to go and just draw a line down here. So this is going to be my first part of my angle. Then I'm going to go ahead and line my protractor up with that line. So it's going to look something like that. So yours are going to have the little holes in them. You want the hole to match up with the end of your line. Okay, and then we're going to go start from a 0, so that's 0 right here, and we're going to read our protractor going this way. Okay, so 0 and counting up. So I'm going to go that way until I find my 160 degree mark. So that's going to be right here. And then I can just connect the two lines, all right? So you could do that with a straight edge so it's nice and neat. I don't have a straight edge available to me, so I'm just going to do it like that. So right here would be our 160 degree angle. So the other part is that you're going to use a protractor and or a ruler, if you have them both, to draw a triangle with two angles that measure 60 degrees with a 2.5 inch side between them. Okay, so you are going to have rulers, or your protractors are going to have rulers as part of them. You can measure that 2.5 inches pretty easily. Well, I don't necessarily have that, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line, and we're going to say that that's 2.5 inches, okay? So there's my line. Now I'm going to go ahead and first I'm going to go ahead and measure my 30 degree angle, right? So we're going to start from one end of the line for that 30 degree angle. So I'm going to start over here. Oops, not the straightest line, but let's make sure we get that taken care of. So there you go, more straight. So I'm measuring from this end. I'm going to measure that way. So I'm going to find my 30 degrees. That's going to be right here. Okay. And I can just go ahead. That's hard to use here. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect these lines. All right, so there's my 30 degree angle. So now I'm going to go ahead and measure my 60 degree angle off of the other side of the line. So I'm going to line it up right here. I'm going to go measure this way on my protractor. And so put a dot right there. Go ahead and move my protractor out of the way and connect the two lines. Go. And I can just erase all of the other little pieces. And there's my triangle, right? 2.5 inches here. That's my 30-degree angle. That's my 60-degree angle. And we've drawn our triangle. Okay. So keep going. So now these are the ones we've been covering in class quite a bit, right? So an angle A measures 2x plus 40 degrees. Okay, so we're not given an angle measure. We're going to be given an expression that is standing in for the angle measure. Angle B is supplementary to angle A, so that's pretty important. It's supplementary, and it measures x plus 20 degrees. So we're going to write and solve an equation to find the value of x. So first, just so we know exactly what we're talking about, I'm going to draw a picture of the situation. So supplementary means that we're going to have the two angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. Okay, one of them is going to be 2x plus 40 degrees, and the other one is going to be x plus 20 degrees. Okay. So that's a picture of what's going on. If I'm going to make my my equation, I'm going to add this angle to this angle, and they're going to equal 180 degrees. So 2x plus 40 plus the x plus 20 is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Now I want to go ahead and combine my like terms. So 2x and x are like terms. 40 plus 20 are like terms. And so 2x plus x is going to be 3x. 40 plus 20 is going to be 60. All of that is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Take away my 60. And keep going. So 3x is going to be equal to 120. So remember, the 3x means 3 times x. So I'm going to divide by 3, and x is going to be equal to 40. So this right here is just what x is equal to. Okay? Just what x is equal to. That's not my angle measurement. It's just what the variable is. Okay? So now I'm going to have to go back and find out what the measure of each angle is. So to find out what angle A is going to be equal to 2x plus 40. I'm going to substitute that x in for this x right there. So wherever I see an x, I'm going to put 40. And then just evaluate, see what it's going to be. So 2 times 40 is going to be 80. 80 plus 40 is going to be 120. So angle A is 120 degrees. We're going to do the same thing for B. So B is x plus 20. Wherever I see an x, I'm going to put 40. So 40 plus 20 is going to end up being 60 degrees. So those are my two angle measurements. 60 degrees and 120 degrees. Just from setting up the equation, all right? All right. So I have to end one video. The rest is going to be on the second video. So they'll be right next to each other on the web page.